Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Saturday and weekend to you. We're really just taking a quick peek here at Bitcoin, helping understand really what's going to happen next. We'll pretty much just jump right in, help you kind of get perspective on what just happened. So if you're trying to kind of wrap your head around this recent decrease, there's a lot of different speculations as to why that is, but generally speaking, it makes sense because it was a bear flag type of pattern. The price came down, worked itself into an ascending type of channel, and then pretty much got rejected hard off of this descending trend. Okay, so again, kind of not surprised by this. Do I wish I'd gotten my shorts in a little earlier? Absolutely. But hey, that's the way trading goes, right? You kind of got to learn to roll with it. And if you miss opportunities, there's always going to be other ones. Okay, so the key is to not force a trade. And at this point, I get a lot of questions asking if we're going, it's advantageous to take a long position now or if we want to wait. We'll kind of see what that looks like, okay? Because again, keep in mind, weekends are not super predictive in the sense of understanding where it's going to go, because it seems like the price has just gone straight sideways since this decrease, right? So a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt right now at this point. So we want to make sure to be aware of that and understand that that does play a factor. Also, alts are getting hit fairly hard. I wouldn't say super hard, but a lot of them are bleeding out further than a lot more than they need to. And it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's messy, but it's not ideal right now to just kind of jump right in because you think that we're at the bottom, okay? Again, that's just the general mindset to not have right now, okay? So let's take a quick peek at the charts and kind of see what's going on here. So quickly to note here, we're below 50 on the RSI on the daily. That's typically never a great sign. Ultimately, we want to be above that to show kind of a bullish trend. But as we can see here, we started to see somewhat of an RSI bearish divergence here. And of course, with the price increasing and then the RSI decreasing, that can be a sign that there's going to be a reversal, which we're seeing right now. When we see the MACD, we can also see a significant increase to the downside, albeit this is just slowly recovering from the weekend. Nothing's actually continued to diverge, so to speak, but for the most part, kind of got that standstill at the moment. Another thing to note too, and I touched on this yesterday, and the fact that I feel like we might see a slight recovery this weekend is based on the fact that we do have traditional markets up by 1 to 2% on average. Okay, so that's a very positive sign. In most cases, there is a correlation there. We see some green from traditional markets. We'll see the same thing happen with Bitcoin. Now, lately, there hasn't been much of a pairing there, so we got to recognize that that doesn't necessarily mean a lot, but it's still something. Okay. Big picture too as well, just kind of touch on this also, some obvious things that we need to note. We're still below 50 on the RSI on the monthly. We also closed the monthly on a doji candle. It's hard to kind of see with this chart, but that is essentially a doji right there, kind of just letting us know that there's indecision. The price increased significantly, so the month would make sense to close red. Okay. Not saying it's going to just bleed out and go down further. We don't know yet. But at this point, it would make sense that the month were to close red, because that's typically how doji candles work. Okay, so again, just means that we had a month of indecision, which is very rare to occur for Bitcoin, and that is essentially putting us where we're at now. Once again, not terrible, but not great. We can also see here that we're trying to bounce off 50 on the RSI. We're going to see if that happens or not. There's a decent chance we could, but still too premature. When we look at the simple moving averages, we got rejected by this death cross here, essentially basically the 200 simple moving average rejecting the price action at 25,000 approximately, and then the 50-day SMA working its way down as per usual, holding the price action in place. So if this 20 can't hold the price upwards, we're going to see the price continue to kind of slowly bleed out here for the rest of the month. Okay, so that's a distinct possibility. Okay, just so you know, for the most part, everything we're looking at is pretty much on the bearish side of things. All right. Now, again, for the last 2 or 3 days, I've been kind of saying that and kind of giving you a heads up, but obviously none of us really expected to have a 5.5% 15-minute candle. That is aggressive and very, very greedy. Obviously, whomever shorted at that point made a ton of cash, and obviously the last of us are just kind of left kind of scratching our heads like, what do we do now? Well, in truth, not a lot of folks know, and that's just kind of the way that it goes. Sometimes you kind of got to wait on the sidelines for things to play out, good or bad. Okay, so at this point, the 4 hour is telling us that we are still stuck at 30 on the RSI. Typically, in most cases, if you look at Bitcoin's history, when we come down to 30, we're going to see a bounce inevitably in the future. Okay, so again, so price comes down to 30 here, for example. It took almost, what is that? It's about 3 trading days for the price to inevitably increase. Okay, so I'm not saying that we're going to see an increase immediately, but it would make sense for the RSI to start coming back up as the price increases as well. That's generally what should happen. Okay, so again, there's a lot of different things that can occur, but for the most part, you see RSI coming down closer to 30. It will either go sideways from there, or it'll go up from there. Okay, again, statistically probable for the price to increase from here, but on the same accord, not a reason to jump in. What would be a good reason to jump in is based on the simple fact that if you're using average position sizing, in other words, not going all in right now at the current price point, and maybe adding to your position as the price comes down, that wouldn't be a terrible consideration. That is the kind of trading style that I like to have in these kind of bearish situations. Instead of shorting my shirt off, I like to take long positions as the dip occurs. Okay, again, different strategies. Those are based on key support levels, which we can see here, just so you know. 21,400 is a close approximate for a support level. We do need to recognize too, 22,800 is a strong resistance. So the price does come up. We could very well get rejected off of that. Okay, so if you're gonna have a long position, take as much profit as you can before 22,800. Again, that's a key Fibonacci retracement level. And when I say key, I'm talking about 0.618. That is a very important level to know because that is the most consistent pattern in trading is the 0.618 level, either 1.618, 2.618, or just 0.618, okay? Do your own research on that, obviously find out. In my experience over the years that I've been trading, that is exactly a very common characteristic. So this being down here, and the price kind of being where it's at, if it were to recover, 22.8 would be a higher point. If it were to decrease, 21.5 should be the next low, okay? So just a general approximate range here. We're probably range bound between 21.5 and 22.8 in the immediate foreseeable future. Okay. Could play out to something very similar to this. Okay, where the price action just kind of continues up, potentially have another bear flag, and then the price comes back down when it hits this area here. Again, possibilities, probabilities, who knows at this point. It's truly a flip of a coin, but it does feel like Bitcoin wants to digress a little bit further. So if you were to take a long position now, even though there's a chance we could see a recovery on Monday or Tuesday, if traditional markets open green again, we will also potentially see that CME gap filled down to the 19,800 range. Okay, so just bear that in mind. That is a possibility as well. So 1 hour time frame, we're going to get a lot of false positives here, especially if we look at the cloud. We can see lag and spans intersection with the price action, conversion lines right there at the baseline, not really telling us much at all. The key indication here is that we're still below the cloud, upper and lower lead. So until we can break back up above, just say, again, you can kind of see this here, this upper lead is averaging itself out at 22,800. Until we get back up above that resistance level, we get a nice strong closure above that level, we have nothing to go on, okay? So there's no reason for Bitcoin just to break out and do something crazy. It could absolutely be another one of these scenarios, definitely, because when we look at short liquidation levels, 22.8 is a strong area in the recent relative past. So that being said, we can disseminate here that we're still under a lot of key level resistances. If you're going to take a long position, averaging your price down would be ideal. In other words, take only 20% position size right now, okay? And then maybe another 20% as the price comes down if it were to. And when I say position size, I'm talking about the overall position you're taking, not your portfolio size. Do not get that mistaken. You do not go 20x with a 20% position size overall based on your portfolio in this scenario. Never do that. 5% of your total portfolio, maybe. That is absolutely the way to go if you're using leverage. Okay. Again, those are all things that I teach in my trading academy, and I want to make sure that I like to try to drive that home because folks can hear what they want to hear. And I'm not saying to take a long position now with extra leverage. I'm just saying that if you're going to use leverage, average your price down as you go down. So that way, if you get, heaven forbid the price continues lower, you get filled at an average lower price. If the price goes up, you still take some profit, right? There's different strategies, different scenarios, but it's important to be very careful and cautious in this environment. So again, if you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech, that's the website where you can register to become a better trader. Okay, so again, we are a very, very good community, and I can tell you we've got some pretty amazing traders too as well in our Discord. In fact, let's take a quick look at the Discord, just to kind of give you perspective on how well some of my traders have been doing. And these are all traders that came over as pretty rough around the edges for lack of better terms. Look at this, Edico. If I'm saying that correctly, I apologize. 23% for AVAX with a short there. What is it? We got some more. We got right about 21% for Phantom, short as well. Nice job there. APT, BNB, APE. These are all long positions from yesterday. So again, a lot of cool, amazing things in the community. So keep up the great work. And obviously, if you want to become a better trader and use better tools at your disposal, check out our sponsor page. We've got a lot of different benefits here. We've got some trading competitions for BitGet and Bybit, as well as the fact that we've got a recent connection here with Mexi Global, and they offer leverage in the United States without a VPN. Really awesome no-brainer there. But again, you need a VPN. You get some free extra months there if you register. A lot of different benefits. So again, be sure to check that out. Really cool stuff coming to the community. But once again, thank you so much for watching. If you have been watching for some time, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Look forward to working with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.